Alright, so Mercadolibre reported earnings this week, and unlike other e-commerce stocks out there, e-commerce companies, Amazon, Shopify, Etsy, maybe even fintech players out there, because Mercadolibre, as you know, is doing a bit of everything. Now, unlike those other companies, they actually reported much better than expected numbers. So we're going to have a look at that. We're also going to talk about the huge opportunity of the Latin American market. You know, in the past videos, we've talked about the opportunity and everything that Mercadolibre actually does, the whole ecosystem. If you want to watch that, the video is going to be in the top right corner. But let's look at some statistics here. So the top 10 countries ranked by retail e-commerce sales growth in 2022. You can see the big percentage change here at the top. Philippines, India, Indonesia are the top three, the leading ones, more than 23%. Then we have Brazil number 4, Argentina number 6, and Mexico number 9. These were the numbers back in January of this year. Obviously, I would like to see some updated ones maybe towards the end of the year. But as you can see, 3 huge countries that, well, Mercadolibre is active in are in the top 10 countries ranked by the retail e-commerce sales growth in 2022. And now just looking on stockcard.io, by the way, I highly suggest you go follow the channel's portfolio because maybe there might be something special popping up pretty soon. So the link is down in the description below. It's free to follow. So Mercadolibre, high growth potential, stable operations, obviously pessimistic investors, because if you look at the graph, let's take the 1-year graph, it's down 35%. From the all-time highs, it's down over 50%. That's also why you see that now for this year, we can see 3 months here, but for this year, same returns as the market. But if you look at the long-term picture, right, in the past 5 years, it has returned over 200% to investors. And if you're really an OG, then over 3000%. As for the analyst consensus, 12 buy ratings, 2 hold, and 0 sell. Now, what does that entail? Well, the average price target is $1,566. We're currently under $1,000, so you already have there over 50% growth if you do trust analyst price targets. Now, towards the end of this video, we're going to see whether or not we're going to add more shares to our portfolio, because remember, we did already add a couple of shares when it dropped under $1,000 a couple of months ago. So now let's go and have a look at those quarterly numbers. All right, so first up, we have the consolidated net revenues that increased $870 million year over year, and that's up 67% to $2.24 billion, also beating the market's estimates. Now, looking at every market that they're in, the biggest ones, so Argentina, Brazil, Mexico, and then all the others, you can see that it sustained high double-digit growth rates in all main geographies. Even if it grew that much in the pandemic quarters, let's say, coming out of it, they're still growing high double digits. And as for the commerce net revenue, so you have commerce and then you have fintech revenue. The commerce one grew 44% to $1.27 billion. Now, as for GMV, that grew 31.6% to $7.66 billion. And then, like I said, we have the fintech net revenue, and that's part of Mercado Pago. You have Mercadolibre, Mercado Pago, Envios, Credito, then also advertising side as well, but that's extremely small. So coming back to Pago, we can see here that those net revenues were $971 million. That grew 113% year over year. And if you look at last quarter, that's on top of 117% growth, which is truly amazing. Now, as for TPV, that grew 81.2% to $25.31 billion. TPV on platform grew 48%, and TPV off platforms grew 138%. Now, I'm going to pause here before we continue and talk about the margins and all the other aspects of the business, because it's important to note that Mercadolibre operates in various countries, very different countries, so different currencies as well. So sometimes when you see the percentage change, it might be confusing because sometimes it's on a neutral basis and sometimes not. So keep that in mind. Now, before I continue, I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. The Motley Fool is a company that provides investing insight and stock recommendations for investors of all skill sets and risk levels. You all know how much I love researching new stocks and trying to find the next best investment. So I'm proud to partner with The Motley Fool to bring you 10 free stock picks from their popular product, Stock Advisor. Now, Stock Advisor has beat the market by more than 4x. So all you have to do is go to fool.com/couch investor to get your free 10 stock picks now. All right. We're back. Take rate is expanding as well, whether it's e-commerce or fintech. Last year, we were at 15%, now we're at 16.7% for commerce. As for fintech, we're now at 3.84% compared to 3.19% in the same quarter last year. And not only is the company growing and turning profit, it's also expanding gross profit margin. So as you can see, the same quarter last year, 42.9%. Now we're at 47.7%. And gross profit as a whole on an FX neutral growth grew close to 90% to over $1 billion. Now the only bad news, let's say, is the slight operating margin compression year over year from 6.6% to 6.2%. That's from higher PD expenses and bad debt provisions related to credit card ramp up. And this is again a good thing. Net income reverted from a loss in 2021 from negative 2.5% to a positive 2.9%. Income from operations also increased 54.8% to $139 million. Muchas gracias para todos. So, pretty good numbers, right? To me, it's one of the best companies if you want exposure to e-commerce and fintech growth and exposure to Latin America. You cannot go wrong with Mercadolibre. Top management, really world-class execution, and they're basically touching on every growth aspect in that region. They've showed they can handle difficult times, especially with high interest rates. And trust me, high interest rates in the United States cannot be compared to what's going to happen and what's happening already in Latin America. So whatever they did to prepare for that, kudos to management. Now, are we going to add more shares to our channel's portfolio? You bet we are. So we're here on the channel's portfolio. Obviously, right now doesn't look that great. But then again, since we're investing in growth companies, that's usually what happens in the short term, especially when the market is like the market we've seen in recent weeks, if not months. Growth stocks are taking a hit. Now I'm going to put the date on Friday because when I'm filming this, it's the weekend, but it's basically the same price. Quantity, let's add 2 of those, and the reason is the link to this video. So that will be it for this video. Do share your thoughts on Mercadolibre. Have you been adding? Do you actually hold the stock? Maybe you might be looking into it right now. Leave it all down in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, maybe hit that subscribe button and maybe check out those 2 videos right here. And I see you all in the next video. Bye bye.